When you first go to jump off the jetty, you feel like you're so scared, you don't want to do it, you're going to die if you do. And when you do it, you're like, here it goes. But once you get in, it is freezing cold, but it feels quite good. And then you just keep doing it and you get into a rhythm of keep jumping off.
When I was going to university, I went to my boss and said, look, I'm going to leave the company. I've finished uni. He said, what are you going to do? And I said, I'm going to sing in a rock and roll band and make surfboards. And he said, I've heard about this new surfboard craze. This is about 1964. He said, I don't think it'll last, but have a go, son. I don't think it'll last.
Everyone's got a story, and I think that's the whole thing. We get all different kinds of people, you know, we get lawyers, accountants, smart people, we get surfers, we get whoever, and at the end of the day, everyone's got a story.
I'm from New York, and I moved to Bondi, and I didn't really have any friends yet. I was just, new, and just saw on a random Facebook ad for Sunrise Yoga, and it was free. So I was like, I love yoga, so I was like, why not?
Well, it wakes you up very suddenly, but today that'll be nearly 20 degrees, which isn't very cold at all.
So after breakfast in bed, we get up and we're off to the lighthouse, and then we have our swim, we go back home.
When I was a kid, I lived on the north side of the harbour, and my family lived on the south side, and so visiting the relatives on the south side of the harbour was always a special event because we'd get to come over the bridge. Even though it wasn't the quickest way, but I always made them come over the harbour bridge because as a kid I loved it. There's a plane coming into Sydney now.
The main task of a tug is to give the pilot of the ship a level of confidence that he can enter a port like Sydney Harbour, which is very confined in places, and the tug is there to assist the pilot to manoeuvre the ship. But basically all the tug is just a lot of power, and it's a great feeling to be in a comparatively small vessel with a lot of power, and it's a lot of fun. It is a lot of fun.
People keep overusing words like unprecedented, but you can kind of see why. It has been unprecedented. I never thought I would be dealing with something like this.
We had a health crisis that, as I keep explaining to my kids, this is not something we'd ever seen before. They keep seeming to think that we are used to this, but obviously what just happened is something totally different to what any of us have ever lived through before.
We're living through a time which I guess most of my ancestors probably couldn't say they went through, but yeah, some of them, not all.
I noticed it on the roads as the traffic diminished and diminished and diminished, and I noticed it because I'm under a flight path as the planes diminished and diminished and diminished. And then what became extraordinary was the silence of the streets. And you'd go into town. I went once, I had to go for something, and just the emptiness of the streets. And as everything moved home and everything changed really quickly, so that we had to do all our work online and to quickly adapt to things that we thought were impossible. That's what I noticed, was the sheer speed of the change, of the shutdown, and yet the reopening of this online world and our ability to sort of transact in this new space almost immediately.
I think that there might be some revolutions like that, and I think that's a really good thing because it's given us all time to think about what's going on and about the mess that we've made of everything. And even the more recent stuff with the Black Lives Matter and this kind of civil unrest that's happening, I think that was an absolutely inevitable flow on from this time as well, because people have been forced to stop and think about how we're doing things. And it's not great, and your light's flashing.
But it's amazing when you get down here and you feel the warmth and the people around you, and it makes a beautiful sort of start to your day.
And then it's really an organization that I believe in and that, speaks to me, and it's something that is really important in my life. So it's kind of perfect.